Hi, welcome to Free Spirit and welcome to the Quantum Energy reading for September. So as we go into September, there was so much going on about, first of all, just being in the flow of the divine current that we find ourselves in. There'll be up days, down days, high energy days, low energy days, but underneath it all, there's an undercurrent of just being at peace and having faith and trust that you're going right in divine flow no matter what it feels like. That keep in mind. And then also that we are tapping into the higher parts of ourselves. We're tapping into our higher self more so with all we do. I even posted a direct spirit message about tuning into your higher self for your actions and reactions. And it's part of the divine ingredients because right now we're going forward for all these divine creations, new creations, co-creations, recreations, and we're pouring more of our higher self into it. And I think it has been a lead up of these times that we have just let go and cleared out all the minutia and all the crap. And who knows what, it took for us to finally tap into, you're seeing all around collectively, people are bringing more of their higher self into things. Now, for the creations and the co-creations, recreations, I keep on saying we're like the high priestess at work, because when you're cleared out and you're tapping in more divinely to your higher self, almost like your high priestess at work, that's where you're getting divine ideas, divine creations, divine ways to go, aha moments, things to work on, pouring more of your higher self into things. And it's also helping us, high priestess at work. When you're a high priestess at work, you always remain in divine flow, like divine timing. You kind of can feel when to act, when not to act, what feels right. And it's more than what feels right, but it's what's really aligned to you and your higher self. So things are changing because when you think, like in the other reading I said, we're like on a higher level now. We went to a higher level. Like picture, I kept on saying like an old school game where you just transcended to the next level on a game. We went up a notch. So everything you're doing is you're so much more in tune. That's all I can say. We're much more in tune with our higher self. And you're going to see this all around, whether people have spiritual names for it or not. They're tapping into the best parts of themselves, the most divine parts of themselves. The higher self is their divine self, their divine ideas. They're moving for it. People, you're seeing outpourings of this. So now the divine ingredients for these new creations and creations that we're doing right now, stepping forward into September, has more of the higher self ingredients. So they're saying, plant with that kind of seeds, those kind of ingredients. Imagine what we're building now. Imagine what we're growing now. So going back to the very beginning of what I said, no matter what it feels like, you'll have up days, down days. I know there's going to be a lot of retrograde planets in September. It doesn't matter. We're still in the divine flow. And because you're a high priestess, you can ride out the high current, the low current. It doesn't matter because the whole undercurrent is you have complete trust and faith. We're moving to better and lighter, and we're taking the steps to do that. So let me tune in. So there were a lot of spirit messages building up to September. A lot of things will be going on in September, but again, it's like this divine flow, high priestess at work, in the divine higher parts of ourselves. Remaining in tune with your higher self with all you do. I even posted that spirit message. Tap into your higher self for all your actions and reactions. Let's tap in now to quantum energy for September. Tuning into the quantum energy for September for all of us. So let's tap in, let's clear ourselves out and tap into September. And what is the quantum energy that we're all going to be working with? What is the divine quantum energy for the month of September? Oh, wow. Okay. What clear messages for the quantum energy of September? Okay. Yeah. Letting go. The energy is letting go. And look at all the adjacent possibilities. Clear energy. Number 3, energy is of letting go. We're letting go of so much to move on right now in September. We're letting go. I feel like we're freeing ourselves from being homebound, inside, closed down. Remember, we had all those lockdowns. It's like she's freeing herself. She's opening up the door and letting go of so much. Internally and externally, we're stepping into September with number 1 cycle is of new beginnings, Okay, this is very clear. The energy is purely of letting go as we step into September. It's almost like opening up the door and freeing yourself and going out. I'll read the description in the book, but the cycle, we're beginning, it's new beginnings. Like they said, for these new creations, recreations, planting for a new harvest, new beginnings in September, absolutely. Greet the new. Let go of all the old and step into these new, fresh beginnings, new things to work on, new projects. And I'll read from the guidebook as well. Number two cycle is the status quo. That is odd to have two cycles. I almost feel like it's a new beginning with the status quo. So we could be going back to things that were quote unquote the status quo, but yet again, it's going to be a new beginning. So in September, I mean, we're all going back to work, we're going back to school, we're going back to that kind of status quo. But then again, we have to bring the fresh new beginning to it, right? Nothing is going to be the true status quo in this cycle. So it's almost bringing a new beginning to all the old cycles of the status quo. Does that make sense? Because that's what it's bringing up for me. What I'm clearly getting for September is this new energy of letting go for new beginnings, and it's all letting go of the old status quo and bringing new beginnings to the status quo. So this is releasing attachment. So here you have the power to free yourself, basically. It's inviting options. There's something in your life you're ready to let go of. It could be old jobs. It could be old locations, relationships. They don't suit you anymore. So whether it's an external situation you need to release or an internal pattern, you're leaving it. You're looking within, you're mustering up the discipline you need to let go, you're freeing yourself from any inner or outer beasts. And so, but I feel we've been in lockdown, so the conditions we're freeing ourselves, we're letting go of being in lockdown. I feel there could be freeing yourself from inner and outer situations at this time as you greet September. But the affirmation is definitely, I release all the unhealthy attachments and I'm making choices that honor me. I move toward my own objectives with joy and trust. And there are adjacent possibilities. So we're opening up the door, we're walking, we're leaving the inner and outer things that kept us stuck, that's kept us confined, and we're going for the new beginnings. And there are two cycles here. So I really think we're going back to an semblance, a resemblance almost of the status quo, but it's a new beginning for all the status quos. So whatever we're going back to in September, we're doing in a new way. And I mean, this is so clear and it's almost hard to put into words, but yet those are the times that we're in that it's hard to put into words, right? I find it so interesting. This is the first time I've ever gotten two cycle cards at the same time, and that's what this September feels like, right? Every year before that, it felt like, oh, back to school. You just go back to school. But nothing's the same. Nothing is the real, genuine, normal life, the status quo that we knew and lived for so many years with what's going on. No, it's a new beginning with everything of that old status quo in a new way. And I think we're letting go of just, going out, letting go of being confined and letting go also of certain things of the status quo, because status quo is all about staying the same. This is a status quo is where there's little change, everything stays the status quo. And here with the cycle, number one cycle is everything's beginning. This is all about the start of something big. So it's the start of something big is literally the subtitle of this card. It's new beginnings, but it's the start of something big with the status quo. And doesn't that really sum up for 2020 September? It is. It's not the usual status quo. It's the start of something big with all that used to be the status quo. So this is all about a baby laughing in a bed of spring flowers, and the sun is shining through all these lilacs, and it's all about a new beginning. And it really is a whole fresh start. It's a whole fresh way of going forward at this time. It's getting ready for something exciting on the horizon. It's making new plans, taking fresh steps. Look, keeping your eyes and heart open for opportunities to start new. So whether it's a creative hobby or if it's any kind of new work, a new beginning, but it's all of this. And the affirmation is I live each day with joy, optimism, and a wonderful new beginning is coming my way to all the old things that were the status quo. I mean, it's two cycle cards. So everything that you're greeting in September is new again, even in the stuff that you looked at that would be the same from year to year. So whether it was going back to school in September, year to work in September, it's still greeting it in a whole new way, especially for the September in 2020 because of what's happening. Nothing's staying the same, right? Nothing's staying the same. So this is saying, things are staying the same for you. There's little change and everything else. But this is telling you that there is nothing that's going to be staying really absolutely the status quo. The status quo is I determine the emotional energy of my life. My inner strength flows through every experience. They're saying that this is pushing you to make sure nothing is going to be the status quo in September. Anything that was considered like quote unquote status quo is still going to be a new beginning, should be greeted with fresh eyes and a fresh heart, and we're letting go of being caged in, we're letting go of all the old, we're looking for adjacent possibilities, bringing in a freshness to all the old status quo. So what a powerful way to start at 11:11 on the video, to have 2 cycle cards. It is trying to get back to the status quo, but in a new way. So what's the energy? What additional energy for like changing up the whole status quo? It's like a new beginning to the status quo. It's increase. It is another cycle card. I've never gotten 3 cycle cards. This is a huge new cycle. I would say this is a new cycle that is challenging everything we knew about the status quo for increase. So we're almost like going into the status quo, right? Looking at as a brand new beginning, and for increase, absolute potential for increase. I will read just because that's so optimistic, but it's almost like, yeah, we could be stuck in trying to look at the status quo and trying to keep everything as the status quo, but no, it's a new beginning for increase. So to go into September in that fashion, because this is a cycle literally of expanding energy, and it's a road to a beautiful estate that's lined with flowers and crystals all along the way. Isn't that interesting, all the crystals? So this heralds a great growth for you. This is all about a cycle of growth, of increase. Nothing in the status quo is going to stay the same. It's all about new beginnings and greeting the status quo in a brand new way. Fresh eyes, like a brand new baby, fresh eyes, fresh heart. How can you make it better, brighter, work better for you, expand, increase? We're going into September that way. It's a brand new cycle that has new beginnings, status quo, increase, right? So this is all about increasing the size of your family, your business, your opportunities. You may be starting to build a project, make investments. If any of these things are on your mind, it's time to investigate your options and take action. The cycles in your life have led you to a wonderful time of increase. While it's true that the expansion may come from a sudden windfall, like an inheritance or a stock paying off or anything like that, it's more likely this cycle could call for great effort. In fact, planning, energy, and attention may be required to make the expansion complete. So be willing to jump into any activity with enthusiasm. That's what was talking about, letting go of all that holds you down and open those doors, because you have to free yourself to go forward for new beginnings and change up the status quo for this cycle of increase, and do the work. Lay the groundwork, make your plans, pay close attention. All of this will ensure that this expansion moves in a very beneficial direction. And the affirmation is, I am ready to make new plans. My life is expanding in wonderful ways. So let go of all that doesn't free you to greet September in this way, where you're greeting all the status quo. It is not September 2018, September 19 to like we always go back to September with similar feelings. This year it's so different. Look at it as a brand new cycle of new beginnings of the status quo, to go in there for increase, to expand, to plan, to work. It's all for increase. So definitely new beginnings. It's 3 cycle cards, bringing fresh eyes and heart and stamina and passion, and changing the status quo. Going in there, looking at the status quo as a brand new day, a brand new way to grow, to increase, to make it better, to make it brighter, to change it up. to go for do the work, to grow and to expand. And it's a cycle of increase. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't make it up. When I said your higher self, we are pouring more of our higher self. When I said I have chills all over my body, we're tapping into our higher self. It is two of spirit. We're coming through, tapping in with more of our higher self. When they made me post that spirit message, I can hardly talk. They said, tap into your higher self for all your actions and reactions. It's going to get you going into the new beginnings, facing the status quo and providing that increase in the right way with the divine ingredients, focusing your heart, your intentions, what's truly aligned to you, not just truly aligned to you, but to your higher self is going to be key. The divine ingredients, what I was just saying in the beginning, they made me repeat. I have chills everywhere. It is us individually, no matter if you call yourself spiritually or not, even those around you that don't even use those terminology, those words, they're tapping into more of their higher self right now. It's seeing the way, showing the way, how you can have fresh eyes and heart and divine ideas, ways to go, greeting the status quo. Nothing's going to stay the same. It's all a new beginning and growing and moving forward for increase and expansion. And it's all the higher self. And I am going to read that card too, because this is the spirit that they literally have been going on and on and on about, leading up to this time that we're really connected with our higher self. We're putting more of our higher self into the actions and reactions that we do. It's part of the divine ingredients that's getting us going in this new cycle. We're greeting September in this new cycle with more in tune to our higher self. We're bringing more of our higher self. This is higher intentions. It's higher motivations. It's higher thinking. Our heart moving on things that we really care about. And it's bringing all these new beginnings to everything that we consider the status quo to make it a period of increase and growth. It's a sacred lifeline. That's what they're saying. This card shows a woman's heart with brilliant white wings radiating golden light. It represents your own eternal spirit, your higher self, the part of you that existed before this life, before all the issues you think this life is about. You're entering a very valuable and intuitive time, one in which you're able to feel the true depth of your power. It's your divine power. You're shedding feelings of doubt and limitations. Remember, the energy back here was of letting go of all that held us back, literally freeing yourself to be more tapped into your higher self. You're shedding feelings of doubt, limitation, reaching deep within to feel the boundless strength of eternity vibrating through your soul. This is your true self, your lifeline to truth. Like when they said it has to be aligned to your truth, it's to your higher self. This is really, really profound and deep and a recurring, repeating message. This is how we're going into September, really more tapped into your higher self, and all your actions and reactions that's what's creating the divine co-creations and recreations right now and providing the growth and increase. It's us stepping into September with your higher self. It's your true self, your lifeline to truth, higher consciousness, timeless connections. Meditate on your soul's identity to gain all the understanding you need and all the solutions that you seek. You're tapped into the infinite in this stance. They even made me post that spirit message about how to get divine ideas right now and how to listen to your spirit guides. And you're like the high priestess at work. Yes, your soul is clearing the way for profound blessings to come. So let this sacred self guide you. Let your higher self guide you all through September. As you do, you'll begin to notice magical happenings in your life. Yes, because you're letting go. It's almost like letting your everything go, and you're coming out the door with your higher self into new beginnings, challenging all the status quo, looking at it for new beginnings, new harvest, planting seeds, co-creating, creating for a cycle of increase, for new growth. Nothing will be the same. Nothing's going to be the status quo because we're more tapped into our higher self with everything. I can hardly put into words everything I'm getting, but it's very aligned with all I've posted already. You're going in there much more tapped into your higher self with all you do. It's only going to provide the cycle of increase. Nothing is going to stay the same. You're greeting even things that were the status quo in a new way because look at the light. You're coming in with profound light like this. So you're coming with the heart and the eyes and the soul, changing it all for increasing growth through your higher self, meaning you're the high priestess at work. You're tuned in for divine ideas, divine inspiration, just to be fired up again, more compassionate, loving, pouring yourself more in. And the affirmation is, I live in the value, power, and deserving of my eternal self. My soul connects me to all my solutions. That's how linked we are. And that's why we're greeting this new cycle as we go into September as just new starts, new beginnings. We're tapped into the infinite ideas and wisdom ways to go. We're challenging the status quo. We do not want things to remain the same. We're going in there for increase and growth. And at the core level of it, nothing will be the same because we're tuned into our higher self and we're beaming that out. It's like we're divinely connected for the inspiration. Okay, so much just came out. I don't even know what to say. I mean, this can't be everything, but I will briefly show you. We had the events of travel, which I think we're all moving to more abundance and opportunities, to the door of opportunities. These flipped out right in my hand. The loving woman. We're coming into more love for ourselves and others. It's surrounding ourselves. Also, it's the people card. It's all loving women, feminine energy here. And we had the present power, which is your power is in the present moment of now, that we're going to be utilizing all our abilities, and we're connected again with the vast universe. So I feel like these two were the ones that really wanted to show, that all came over in my hand. But the vast universe is that infinite knowledge, wisdom, ideas, and that you're backed for this period because we're on the ground here, having to be inspired, moving with more of our higher selves in motion and action for these new beginnings, challenging the status quo to make it a new cycle of increase and opportunity, like opening the doors for the opportunity. And it's so, our present power is when you're focused, all your attention and focus, you're not in the past, you're not in the future, your moment is now. Your place of power is in the moment, and you're connected with the vast universe, which is tapped into the infinite ideas. You're completely backed. It's one. It's number one of spirit, and we're completely linked. Number one of spirit, number two of spirit, and that is what is getting us into September. And I've been feeling this as a lead up to September, that we're very tapped into this. The vast universe is blessings of divine consciousness, and that's what's getting us through this huge new cycle. It's us being completely tapped in. I can't understate this enough. It's blessings. And I literally also posted a spirit message about you as a light worker, light working all the time. Believe me, it's work. And they said you're blessed. You are a blessing and you're blessed. And when you come in, tapped into your higher self, and you're bringing it to all these things, with new beginnings to the status quo for a cycle of increase and growth, and what you're pouring out. Look at the shine, right? We're rising up and shining like that, each and every one of us, by what we're doing, how we're facing the world, how we're facing the status quo and making it better, greeting the new beginnings for growth, for increase, knowing our present power in the moment and seizing it. And we have blessings of divine consciousness. This is literally a bright sun spinning in the heavens and projecting divine light to the earth. It's sending out brilliant waves of universal energy. And when you receive this card upright, you know that this vast river of grace, abundance, happiness is all open for you. You yourself have your own divine heart. You can't make this up. I mean, I said we transcended this period with a golden heart, a divine heart. And so we're going through, it literally says right here, you yourself have your own divine heart. One that is connected to all other people, things, and to boundless creative energy. This incredible power is always available to you, but you have now arrived at a time when the whole world is about to open up. And no doubt about it's the whole world, because we have a cycle of new beginning. Number one, cycle of new beginnings. I have to use two hands for this reading. The second card was the status quo, and it's moving us right to increase. 1, 2, 3. That is the powerful movement of us being in our higher selves now, linked to the divine light, infinite knowledge, opened up more to our higher selves and pouring it out, saying we have a divine heart. We transcended this time with a divine heart. We're connected with the vast universe, and we are bringing this whole cycle from 1, 2, 3. So we're having new beginnings, challenging the status quo and bringing in a cycle of increase and growth. Why? Because we're using more divine, higher self qualities. We are tapped into our higher self. It's part of the divine ingredients, and we're linked with, and we're backed by the vast universe. So this is saying you have boundless creative energy. I want to say boundless creative ideas, ways to go, how to go from, make new beginnings to all the status quo and bring in that increase, the growth. Like they said, we're co-creating and creating right now. So stay linked, stay inspired. When you get a divine idea, you're carrying it out. You're rising up with all you are and shining that out into everything you do, whatever you do for work, in your personal and work. And you are linked with the vast universe. That's where you're getting your power, your inspiration, your ideas, ways to go. And it's just amazing. I mean, look at the light for the new beginnings. Look, we're challenging the status quo, changing it into a cycle of increase and growth. 1, 2, 3. And it's because we've come into more, we're pouring more of our higher self into things. We're rising in the fullness of all we are. The circumstances almost forced us to do this, to tap in higher, to be rooted deeper and tapping in higher. I posted tons of videos about that too, because that's what the circumstances called for, right? And now we have stretched ourselves. We have more divine, higher self. We're pouring ourselves out into things. And it says you're linked to boundless creative energy. This is incredible power that's available to you. It's like divine power with a divine heart going forward. But you have now arrived at a time when the whole world is about to open up. Opportunity awaits. Amazing connections are available to you. The eternal consciousness that co-creates all reality is in alignment with your own heartfelt desires. These two cards say it all. The whole universe is in sync to your heart. See? Because we've tapped in higher, your higher self. That's the heart that you're moving on right now. Because it's been cleared by the circumstances. We have raised up in the fullness of all we are. So we are linked, and we are walking new beginnings, status quo, and we're providing the cycle of increase together. And that's what they're saying. The whole reality is in alignment with your heartfelt desires because you are one and the same. This is the time to focus your energy there by creating a treasure map or vision board filled with bright images, writing a clear attraction intention, or directing your angels to carry your intentions to the energetic realm. The entire universe is waiting and willing to respond because you are one and the same. You're linked, right? You're linked. You have a divine heart. You're getting divine ideas. You're divinely inspired, and you're part of the divine increase, the divine growth, the divine creations, recreations, co-creations. And that is why we are going from cycle 1, 2, and 3, all new beginnings, to the status quo, providing new growth and increase because we've raised ourselves, right? We've gone higher. That's what it is. And we're linking with the vast universe there. We're backed, we're linked, and we're going forward. And the affirmation is, the light of God fills me, divine consciousness guides me, abundant blessings of the universe flow into my life. And we're making it happen. We're co-creating this abundance. We're co-creating the increase and the growth. And the whole thing is through our higher self and being connected with the vast universe. We're part of moving this divine cycle. It's a brand new cycle. It's a new higher level. I mean, I kept posting that too. I kept on saying we're on a higher level making the moves. It's all about present power, divine power, and the power of the moment. That's your consciousness of always being in the moment of now, the present moment, not too far in the past or the present, but right in the present, divinely linked for all the ideas, the inspiration, your higher self. And we are part of all the new beginnings, the cycle of new beginnings to the status quo, and giving this whole road to increase, to growth. So they're saying stay fired up, stay inspired, stay linked with the vast universe. No, you are one and the same. You are one and the same when you're tapped into your higher self. You're part of the co-creations, what did they say? We're co-creating miracles, right? You get a divine idea, you get divinely inspired, you're listening, you're a high priestess at work, you're carrying it out, you're following your heart. It's very heart-based because it's almost like our divine heart is going through the steps to create this increase in growth. So this is beautiful cycle of new growth, new possibilities, all about the higher self, bringing more of the higher self. Literally, that spirit message was tap into your higher self for your actions and reactions, because that is what they want us to go forward in September, creating this brand new beginning of moving the status quo to just one of increase and growth. And it's almost like they paved the way for us, I want to say, for this new growth, this new increase, because we've been cleared. See all the crystals? It's like we've been divinely cleared. The circumstances made us rise up fully more in our higher self. It did. That's what the circumstances did. And you could see that all around. And now it's step in fully with all you are. Pour yourself fully into all the things that you're divinely being moved. You're like a high priestess at work, so listen to what you're getting intuitively. Ideas, if you are listening to your guidance, any projects, work projects, any creative projects, anything you do, work, personal, pour your higher self into it. Pour your higher self into it, and it's co-creating abundance. And this is divine light on the ground and from the heavens. We are, when you're coming from this place, and it's doing nothing but creating this new cycle of increase. And I love how it's a new beginning to all that was the status quo. I mean, make no mistake, the odds of getting 3 cycle cards, 1, 2, and 3, in that even order, they're showing it's divine order. I know how crazy and chaotic the world feels, but this is a divine order of a brand new beginning where we're coming in fresh again, like it more in our higher self with new light, challenging, looking at the old status quo or getting to work within the status quo to provide a new growth, a new cycle of increase, right? And that's what's new. That's what's new because we're linked with this, with the infinite, with the possibilities, the abundance. Going forward like that. So this is a really beautiful, amazing. I did feel all these spirit messages and readings leading up to this that we were going in. Like I said in the beginning, it is touch in with your higher self. That is the key. You want to stay connected with your higher self, creating a new beginning to all that was quote unquote status quo and creating a new cycle of increase and growth. And to always march through September this way, where you're tapped in more to your higher self, bringing your higher self. I want to say it's the divine ingredients that you're tapping in higher. You're checking with, it's not just, is it true to you? Is it aligned with you? But is it even aligned to your higher self? It's one notch up. And we're getting pushed to do that because that's part of the real divine creations. And you also have real divine backing when it's from that. And that is the path that we are on in September. So remain clear, remain charging through with your higher self, linked to the infinite ideas and possibilities and abundance to be created and grow right now. So this is very optimistic and really amazing. And pretty much a summation of everything I've been getting so much. And going back here, they're saying, let go of all that stops you from stepping fully in here. There's a lot we have let go to get to this place. Your power is in the present moment. Absolutely. Don't go. Remember, they said divine timing. You don't go too far ahead of yourself or in the past. No, 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 no. We're letting go of the past, not looking too far in the future. We're right in divine timing. The people around you are going to be very loving, very nurturing when you have loving woman, very positive, strong feminine energy here, and definitely moves to make because we have the travel. So it says to me we are traveling from the 1 to the 2 to the 3. And there also could be new doors of opportunity, I want to say, of course, because we're moving to the growth and the increase here. So this is nothing but, amazing new cycle starting here. 1, 2, 3. It almost feels like a new higher momentum because you have 1, 2, and 3. That is a momentum, and it's a divine order of momentum as well. 1, 2, and 3. And it's all this higher self and vast universe. I know I'm going on, but this is summing up every spirit message and spirit reading I've given up into this point, especially about the higher self. They kept on saying we are coming forward with more of our higher self in our everyday actions. And if you really want to be a powerful creator and co-creator and stay really linked and be on this cycle of increase all the time, always check in with your higher self for all your actions and reactions. And it's higher than just saying, is it true for me? Is it aligned to me? It is like, is it one and the same with the vast universe? Am I one? Like, this is a divine heart, right, of your higher self. You are one and the same with the divine light here for this increase. You want to be right aligned to that even. It's aligned to your higher self. So they made me post that spirit message. For all your actions and reactions, tune into your higher self because this is the path you're on when you do that. And again, I'm blown away. This is the cards that we're looking at for September because it is so clear. I mean, they want it to be so clear. They want it to be so clear for us. I could almost have tears in my eyes. They want they want it to be so clear to us. Just remain in tune to your heart. Remain tapped into everything. Be open for all the ideas. Stay feeling really abundant. No matter what your physical eyes are seeing or what you're hearing, you're staying in tune to your higher self, which believes in infinite ideas. You're constantly and always inspired and standing up in the full power and the fullness of all you are, walking on this new path to growth, to increase, doing the work from this place, right? That's doing the work from this place. You're a high priestess at work, in touch with your higher self, making the moves, and you are one and the same, linked with the vast universe, right? Making your way to this new cycle. I don't want to block it. It's a cycle of increase. And beautiful for September. Have a great start to September. This has been Quantum Energy for September. As you hear the bikers, take care. Oh, they're biking down to increase. Feel like they're just cruising down this increase. Take care. Bye-bye.